Please like the video and share it so that it reaches many more people and you get sawaba, or rewards from Allah. This could be a sawabe jariyah or continuous reward for you long after you are gone.
Volume 3, Book 48, number 817. Narrated by Zayd bin Khalid. Allah's apostle ordered that an unmarried man who committed illegal sexual intercourse be scourged 100 lashes and sent into exile for 1 year. Volume 3, Book 48, number 818. Narrated by Nu'man bin Bashir. My mother asked my father to present me a gift from his property, and he gave it to me after some hesitation. My mother said that she would not be satisfied unless the Prophet was made a witness to it. I, being a young boy, my father held me by the hand and took me to the Prophet. He said to the Prophet, his mother, Bint Rawaha, requested me to give this boy a gift. The Prophet said, do you have other sons besides him? He said, yes. The Prophet said, do not make me a witness for injustice. Narrated Ash-Shabi that the Prophet said, I will not become a witness for injustice. Volume 3, Book 48, number 819. Narrated by Zadam bin Mudrab. I heard Imran bin Hussein saying, the Prophet said, the best people are those living in my generation, then those coming after them, and then those coming after, the second generation. Imran said, I do not know whether the Prophet mentioned 2 or 3 generations after your present generation. The Prophet added, there will be some people after you, who will be dishonest and will not be trustworthy and will give witness, evidences, without being asked to give witness, and will vow but will not fulfill their vows, and fatness will appear among them. Volume 3, Book 48, number 820. Narrated by Abdullah. The Prophet said, the people of my generation are the best, then those who follow them, and then those who follow the latter. After that there will come some people whose witness will go ahead of their oaths, and their oaths will go ahead of their witness. Ibrahim, a sub-narrator, said, we used to be beaten for taking oaths by saying, I bear witness by the name of Allah or by the covenant of Allah. Volume 3, Book 48, number 821. Narrated by Anas. The Prophet was asked about the great sins. He said, they are, 1. To join others in worship with Allah, 2. To be undutiful to one's parents, 3. To kill a person, which Allah has forbidden to kill, i.e. to commit the crime of murdering, 4. And to give a false witness. Volume 3, Book 48, number 822. Narrated by Abu Bakr. The Prophet said thrice, should I inform you out the greatest of the great sins? They said, yes, O Allah's Apostle. He said, to join others in worship with Allah and to be undutiful to one's parents. The Prophet then sat up after he had been reclining, on a pillow, and said, and I warn you against giving a false witness. And he kept on saying that warning till we thought he would not stop. See Hadith number 7, Volume 8. Volume 3, Book 48, number 823. Narrated by Aisha. The Prophet heard a man, reciting Quran, in the mosque, and he said, may Allah bestow his mercy upon him. No doubt, he made me remember such and such verses of such and such surah which I dropped from my memory. Narrated Aisha, the Prophet performed the tahajjud prayer in my house. And then he heard the voice of Abbas who was praying in the mosque, and said, O Aisha, is this Abbas's voice? I said, yes. He said, O Allah, be merciful to Abbas. Volume 3, Book 48, number 824. Narrated by Abdullah bin Umar. The Prophet said, Bilal pronounces the Adhan when it is still night, before dawn, so eat and drink till the next Adhan is pronounced, or till you hear Ibn Maktum's Adhan. Ibn Maktum was a blind man who would not pronounce the Adhan till he was told that it was dawn. Volume 3, Book 48, number 825. Narrated by Al-Miswar bin Makrama. Some outer garments were received the Prophet, and my father, Makrama, said to me, "Let us go to the Prophet so that he may give us something from the garments." So, my father stood at the door and spoke. The Prophet recognized his voice and came out carrying a garment, and telling Makrama the good qualities of that garment, adding, "I have kept this for you, I have sent this for you." Volume 3, Book 48, number 826. Narrated by Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. The Prophet said, "Isn't the witness of a woman equal to half of that of a man?" The women said, "Yes." He said, "This is because of the deficiency of a woman's mind." Volume 3, Book 48, number 827. Narrated by Uqba bin al-Harith. That he had married Yahya bint Abu Ihab. He said, "A black slave lady came and said, 'I suckled you both.' I then mentioned that to the Prophet, who turned his face aside." Uqba further said, "I went to the other side and told the Prophet about it. He said, 'How can you keep her as your wife when the lady has said that she suckled both of you, i.e. you and your wife?' So, the Prophet ordered him to divorce her." Volume 3, Book 48, number 828. Narrated by Uqba bin al-Harith. I married a woman, and later on a woman came and said, 'I suckled you both.' So, I went to the Prophet to ask him about it. He said, 'How can you keep her as a wife when it has been said that you were foster brother and sister? Leave, divorce her.'"